So are you, because of the nature of your profession and how you play it straight and you just play it right down the middle, are you above the Duke-Carolina fray? Do you get the texts from Carolina people on a night like Saturday night, or you're just you're out of that mix because you've been sort of impartial for as long as you've been, Jay?
Overall, I think I am above the fray, honestly. Like, I really don't care who wins these games. That's
Right.
up to the participants. And I know so many people there at Carolina, and I count Hubert Davis among my most valued friends. So when that game was, it was a really interesting feeling for me. I was doing the game for ESPN. I was doing all the games for ESPN International, which my NIL deals in Sweden have skyrocketed. It's really fantastic. But when the buzzer went off, I was so happy for Hubert and those Carolina players. Like, Duke and Carolina recruit the same guys. It's not like they're foreign to one another as far as they're different people or anything. The fans can go crazy all they want to, and they should crow and use this as a trump card because the Duke people would have done the same thing. But then the contrast of having Coach K's last game and watching him walk off the floor. Look, I've said this. I mean, I wasn't sad about it being the end for Coach K, because I get it. He's 75 years old. It's time for him to move to the next stage of his life. But it was poignant, and I did have this overwhelming feeling of gratitude. Obviously, on a personal level, having known him since I was 17, and all the things that he's done for me, and what my life is because of him, but also for just as a somebody who loves basketball, that whether it's when Nick Saban leaves or when Bear Bryant retired or when John Wooden retired, you have an appreciation for what he's meant to the game. And I think, Rich, we're all kind of guys our age are all kind of fortunate. We lived through Jack Nicklaus and Tiger Woods, and we lived through Kareem, Magic, Bird, Jordan, and LeBron and Durant. And we've lived through Dean Smith and Coach K, and for me, John Wooden when I was a kid. And now the younger guys that like Jay Wright that are taking the baton over. It's really been kind of an extraordinary time, at least for our lifetimes, to have, like, I'm 58. Coach K's been at Duke for 42 years. And my whole adult life has been, my relationship with the school is way better because he stayed there. And I really believe this, that my relationship with my former teammates and the guys who have played there is way stronger because we all played for the same coach. There's a commonality there that most players don't get to experience. And, the guys at Syracuse have, but very few others have had that kind of common experience that they share.
How do you think, Jay, I don't know if you've spoken to him yet, how do you think the way it ended is going to sit with Coach K? Jay?
The same. I don't know if it'll be magnified because it's the last time, or magnified because it was North Carolina versus another, if Michigan State had knocked him out, or Texas Tech or something. I think every year when they lose, just like for every coach, every team, there's a down period where you have, hey, what if I'd done this, or that one really hurt. This one has a little bit more. It has more layers to it. So I don't really know the answer to that. I haven't spoken to him yet. I sent him I talked to Danny Ferry about this. We had dinner the other night, and I said, "You gonna call him?" Because I'm thinking about, should I call, because I don't want to bother him.
Right.
But Danny said, "No, I'm going to send him a note." And I had actually just done that. I sent him a letter. But I'll catch up with him in the next several days, just to sort of debrief the whole thing and let him know the feeling when he was walking off, and see what he has to say. But it's just sort of it's kind of a weird time. Like, he didn't just announce that he was leaving. Otherwise, I would have called and been there and all that stuff. It's been a year-long process, so we've had a lot longer to wrap our heads around this one. So it's a little bit of a different than the normal retirement of an icon, a Mount Rushmore type.
Well, I mean, I'll ask it anyway. I know the answer to it, but I'll ask it anyway, since there are many who are wondering. The way that it ended is something that Coach K won't be able to countenance, to the point where he'll say, you know what, I want to do one more year and tell John Shire, you got this a year from now. Do you think there's any chance of that happening?
Zero. Yeah, zero. But if he does it, I hope he does it. If he does come back, I hope he does it on one of Tom Brady's most important days. Because Brady announced he was coming back during the bracket reveal of Selection Sunday, and so I think Coach K should time it to one of Brady's most important moments.
Wow.
And do that.
Well, I mean, Tom had to get it out there because, free agency was about to begin. He couldn't lose anybody. You know what I mean? Like, so you're saying he should have just waited till all the regions were announced or something like that, right?
I'm sure that's what Brady's going to say, that it had to do more with free agent signings and making sure that Tampa Bay was as competitive as possible so that he could come back to the best possible team. I'm sure that's going to be the narrative, Rich. But the truth is, as a helmet-wearing, purveyor
yes.
of that sadistic ground acquisition game that is nothing more than a crypto-fascist metaphor for war, that was just about demeaning the round ball game that is far more beautiful than football. That's all that was, and let's just be honest about it.
Well, I mean, I think you're being honest about it if you use the word crypto-fascist in relation, to the conversation. Jay, I didn't think you were mincing anything.
It is just a war. It is just a metaphor for war. They talk about it's a ground acquisition game. That's all it is. And they talk about throwing the bomb, and it's very militaristic. And basketball is a game of balletic movement. We don't have committee meetings between each play. You have to play offense and defense without a break. Look, football is a great game, and it's certainly a wonderful distraction while basketball is on its hiatus. But let's be honest, it is not the same type of wonderful, beautiful game that is the second most popular game in the world. While football happens to be popular here, but nowhere else on the planet.
I like your agenda, Jay, that you've brought to the table here today. I really, I admire it. I very, very much.
It's just subjective honesty, Rich. It's not an agenda. I'm a truth teller.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.